The seating chart had me at table 19. Only there was no table 19 inside the vineyard barn. Table 19 was a rusty bistro set on the gravel path between the porta-potties and the dumpster. A single wilted peony drooped in a mason jar like it had already given up. That's when my cousin Riley leaned over my shoulder and whispered, "Guess the spare doesn't rate a chair with the real guests." I'm Sage Brennan, breathing from a tiny saltbox house on the Oregon coast right now, and if you've ever been handed a plate and told to eat in the garage while everyone else toasted inside, keep listening. This is the night my family's fairy tale wedding turned into a crime scene photo, and the only thing I did was refuse to smile about it. Riley's wedding was Pinterest incarnate. String lights, lavender fields, a barn that cost more per hour than I make in a week restoring mid-century furniture. I drove 6 hours from Portland clutching a hand-carved cedar box I'd stayed up 3 nights finishing, my gift for the happy couple. Mom texted on the way, "Sage, please just blend in. Today is about Riley." Translation: disappear. Growing up, Riley collected Spotlight the way other kids collected Pokemon cards. Straight A report cards framed on the fridge, dance team trophies on every shelf, college funded by Dad's networking. I got quiet praise and a pat on the head for fixing the garage door before anyone noticed it was broken. Mom called me low maintenance. Dad called me self-sufficient. Both meant disposable. 2 months earlier, I'd grabbed coffee with Riley's old sorority sister, Tara, in the city. One mimosa turned into 3 and Tara spilled everything. Riley laughing about how easy it was to train Ethan, her tech millionaire fiancé. "He thinks I'm pregnant already," she'd bragged, swirling her glass. "Signed the new house in my name last week." Men are spreadsheets with heartbeats. Tara forwarded me the group chat screenshots that night. I stared at them so long the screen burned. My eyes. I didn't plan revenge. I just stopped deleting evidence. Back to the wedding. I carried my cedar box past tables dripping in roses and champagne, past aunts who air-kissed Riley and looked through me like I was part of the catering staff. The coordinator, clipboard clutched like a shield, pointed to the gravel path. "Table 19, miss. Overflow seating." Overflow. Cute word for trash. I set the box down, smoothed my emerald silk dress, and took the metal chair. Through the open barn doors I could see Riley radiant in lace, Ethan beaming like he'd won the lottery. Mom adjusted Riley's train. Dad raised a glass. Nobody looked outside. Then Riley herself glided over, veil fluttering like a victory flag. She stopped 10 feet away, close enough for guests to notice, far enough that her voice carried. "Wow, Sage. They really put you with the garbage." Fitting. A few cousins snickered. Phones angled. Riley's smile was pure venom dipped in frosting. "Some of us belong in the picture. Some of us are just background noise." I stood slowly. The gravel crunched under my heels like tiny bones. "Background noise still gets heard, Riley." Her smirk faltered. "Enjoy your day," I said, and walked back inside, cedar box in hand. Nobody stopped me. Invisible has its perks. I found the gift table piled high with Neiman Marcus bags and Tiffany boxes. My cedar box looked humble beside them, raw wood and brass hinges, no ribbon. I set it dead center, lifted the lid, and tucked the folded printouts underneath the linen-lined interior. Page 1, Riley's texts in damning black and white. Page 2, the quitclaim deed Ethan had signed last month, putting the $4.2 million lake house solely in Riley's name. Page 3, Tara's sworn statement. I closed the lid, ran my finger over the carved quote I'd burned into the top. "Truth is the only heirloom that never tarnishes." Then I walked out. Didn't run. Didn't cry. Just left my heels in the gravel and drove barefoot down the winding vineyard. Rode while the sun bled out over the hills. Inside the barn, the toasts were starting. Dad clinked his glass, voice thick with practiced emotion. Riley and Ethan took the floor for their first dance, a slow sway under 1,000 fairy lights. The MC, bless his opportunistic heart, announced an impromptu gift opening for content. Guests cheered. Phones went up like periscopes. Someone handed Riley the cedar box. "This one's gorgeous," a bridesmaid cooed. Riley preened for the cameras, lifted the lid, and the fairy lights caught the exact moment her face caved in. Ethan leaned over. The music hiccuped. A phone clattered to the floor. I was 30 miles away, windows down, salt wind whipping my hair, when the first text hit. Mom, Sage, answer your phone right now, Dad. What did you do? Riley, you psychotic bitch, this isn't over. I turned the phone off and let the ocean drown them out. Back at the vineyard, Ethan's voice reportedly cut through the barn like a blade. You told them I got you pregnant? Riley's excuses stacked higher than the cake, each one crumbling faster. His mother, a federal judge who doesn't suffer fools, read the quitclaim aloud to the stunned crowd. The DJ killed the music. Someone's uncle started live streaming. By the time Ethan walked out, prenup annulment already notarized in his pocket, the hashtag dumpster bride was trending in Portland. Riley apparently threw the cedar box. It split against the barn beam, cedar shards raining like confetti. She screamed my name until her voice shredded. Mom tried to hug her. Riley shoved her away hard enough that Mom's pearl necklace snapped, pearls bouncing across the dance floor like lies trying to escape. Dad found me 2 days later on my porch, coffee gone cold, gulls circling overhead. He looked smaller than I remembered. She's destroyed, Sage. The house is gone. Ethan's family lawyered up before dessert. I sipped my coffee. She seated me next to actual garbage, Dad. I just returned the favor. He rubbed his eyes. We didn't know it was that bad. I laughed, soft and final. You never asked. Riley texts sometimes, walls of caps-locked rage, then drunken apologies at 3 a.m. I don't block her. Let her see the life I'm building, one restored chair at a time, ocean outside my window, no audience required. Last week a cardboard box showed up on my doorstep, no return address. Inside, one surviving piece of the cedar box, the burned quote still legible. Someone had added below it in shaky Sharpie, "You were right." I sanded the new words off, refinished the wood, and turned it into a planter. Now it sits on my windowsill growing mint, quiet and green and mine. So tell me, where are you reading this from? Because I need to know I'm not the only one who learned that walking away from the table they never set for you is the moment you finally get seated at your own. If you've ever been table 19, share this before the algorithm forgets. And ask yourself, when they realize the trash took itself out, whose seat stays empty forever?